I didn't expect to feel something like this again. Not at this stage of my life. For a long time, my world has been very full. Not in a loud way, more in a quiet, constant kind of way. I have children, responsibilities, a routine that doesn't really leave much space for anything else. And at some point, I made peace with that. I thought, maybe this is enough. Maybe I don't need anything more. Then, I met him. It didn't feel dramatic or overwhelming. It was actually the opposite. It felt easy. We started talking, just messages at first. Long conversations about small things, about life, about past experiences. And I remember noticing how natural it felt to respond to him. Like I didn't have to think too much, like something was flowing on its own. He didn't have children. And I realized quietly that this mattered to me, more than I usually admit. I've been in situations before where both sides had children, and it was difficult. Too many emotions, too many expectations. It never really felt calm. So when I met someone who didn't have that complexity, and who didn't seem scared of my life, I allowed myself to think, maybe this could work. We started meeting in person, small cafes usually, places where everything feels a little softer, especially when it's raining outside. We would sit by the window, talk for hours, and there was this quiet sense of comfort. He looked at me in a way I hadn't felt in a long time, like I was something steady, something he could build his future around, and I didn't stop him from feeling that way. Maybe I should have, but I didn't. Because at the same time, my life outside of those moments didn't change at all. My mornings were still busy, getting the kids ready, making sure everything was in place, answering questions, solving small problems. And by the time the day really began, I already felt a little empty. Not physically, emotionally. Like I had a certain amount of energy and most of it was already used just to keep everything running. I didn't fully understand that until he became part of my life. Because he had energy. He wanted connection, closeness, presence, not occasionally, but consistently. And at first, it didn't feel like a problem. It felt like something warm, something good. But slowly, small things started to change. He would get disappointed when I canceled plans, or when I said I was too tired to meet. He didn't always say it directly, but I could feel it, that quiet shift in his mood. Over time, it became more visible. Comments about how I spend my time, questions about why I seem distant. Sometimes even small criticisms about how I manage my life, or how I raise my children. That was harder to hear than I expected. Because from my side, I was already doing everything I could. My children are safe. They're cared for. They have what they need. But emotional energy is something I don't always have control over. And the more he wanted from me, the more I started to feel pressure. Not the kind that comes from conflict, but the kind that slowly builds inside you, quietly, like a feeling that no matter what you do, it's not quite enough. For him, he started talking more about the future, about us as something already certain, as if we were already moving toward a shared life, without really stopping to ask if we were ready for that. And I began to feel like I was being pulled forward, faster than I could move. I didn't want to hurt him. That part was always very clear, because I could see how much he cared, how deeply he had already invested himself, how he was slowly building his life around the idea of us. And that made everything more complicated, because at the same time, I was starting to feel overwhelmed. Not by him as a person, but by what he needed from me. There were moments when I just wanted silence, space, time to breathe without expectations. And those moments started to become more frequent. The more he reached toward me, the more I felt myself pulling back. Not intentionally. It just happened. And I think he felt that. He began asking more direct questions. Why are you distant? Why don't you open up more? Why does it feel like I need you more than you need me? Those are difficult questions because the answers are not simple. The truth is, I like him. I truly do. I enjoy being with him. I feel comfortable around him. And at some point, I really believe this could become something stable. But at the same time, I don't feel the same level of need. And that difference is slowly becoming impossible to ignore. I've started asking myself questions I didn't want to ask in the beginning. Am I capable of giving him what he needs? Or am I trying to fit into something that doesn't really match my life anymore? Because my life is already full. And not in a way that leaves space for constant emotional presence. Sometimes I think about how things were before I met him. Quieter, simpler, a little lonely, maybe, but also peaceful. And that thought makes me uncomfortable because I don't want to choose loneliness. But I also don't want to live with constant pressure. So now I feel somewhere in between. He is fully there, fully committed, and I am hesitating. Not because I don't care, but because I'm not sure I can carry what this relationship is becoming. And I can already feel that if I step away, it will hurt him deeply. But staying might slowly hurt both of us. And that's the part that's hardest to accept. Because there is no clear mistake here, no obvious reason that makes a decision easy. Just two people with different emotional capacities at this moment in their lives.